Ollie over a punji pit? You think you can just do that? My friends. More double on me today. I want to try and... Fucking hell, is it? Why do you do this? That's incorrect. That's not what I wanted. Why?
Why does voice mod hate me? Thank you for telling me, friends. I don't know why it does this. I don't know why it's mean to me. I open it up and it's like, you want a random voice on, right? And it's like, no, I want you on... I don't want voice mod to love me, is the thing. Consider. Sorry, my eyebrows itch. Hi, friends. We're gonna do more Devil in Me today. And hopefully finish it. I think we're close enough to the end that we can finish it in a couple hours. I would like to finish it because the plan is, if it releases tomorrow, to play Chapter 4 of Scarlet Hollow. Hey Devo, can you stop yelling at me? He has been so whiny the last few days and I need him to stop. My boy, my sweet lovely boy. Why you scream? Why you scream more than normal, huh? Huh? But yeah, Scarlet Hollow should be releasing tomorrow. In theory. So we'll see if that happens, and if it does, I wanna stream it. Because I like the game and I like playing it on the day that it releases. So yeah, that just means I want to try and get this done. Plus I don't want to have to wait until next week to finish The Devil in Me. I've already done enough putting it off for the time being, you know? So we're gonna do that. And yeah, I think I've set up my schedule in such a way that I'll be able to stream more consistently, which is very exciting. I'm excited about it. But yeah, that's about all I have to start. So y'all just want to like hop into this dang game? Y'all just want to do this dang game? Let's just do this dang game. Yeah, I do still have sound on. Okay. Is it doing the bad clicking? It is. Okay, hold on just a second. Sometimes the game capture likes to click at us. This is fine because my glasses are all smudged to hell. And I need to fix that. I thought I had, but apparently I'd missed one big smudge. Hello. Clean glasses. Wonderful. And then... game. As per usual, let me know if game is too loud. That should be about where I had it set before. Hey, it's real dark? Is this a phone? Hey, Kate, what is this? This thing that you're holding? What is this thing? Okay, well, it doesn't matter. What happened last time? What happened? Charlie was hiding in the floor, may or may not be dead. Mark found a lot of pictures? Mark found some bodies that we took pictures of, I should say. And Jamie found all the cameras? I think there was some more important stuff that happened aside from that, but that's about all I remember. This was just 2 days ago, and I've already forgotten. Hello? Great. Sounds like people are running around. Love that for us. I don't know. Overall, I've enjoyed this so far. Oh, okay. That's what that noise is. I think I do need to just like sit down and play it through.
Books don't work.
In just a single sitting. so that I can see everything happen all in one go. But I can do that on my own time. Hey! Granted, if I do manage to, like, start streaming more consistently, if we wanted to, I could play this in a single sitting and make different choices. That's always an option, too, if people are feeling it. Can we stop trying to investigate the bad sounds? Have we considered not doing that, actually? I can inspect, or I can open. That's a head.
Can you hear me?
Was that? Okay, well, maybe we leave them alone. Maybe we move on, and... Right! Jamie found out about the halls behind the mirrors, and the fact that it's the one-way mirror. You can see through it. What's this? Manny Sherman, the Beast of Arkansas, by Joseph Morello.
Joseph Morello.
That's the man that we know as
wasn't the man on the
Dumet. Okay. But honestly, I was glad to be leaving. They'd been nice folks, the Stewarts. Real nice. Both in their 70s now. Dad's still strong as an ox, having been a military man before moving to the town to settle and start a family. Mom was starting to get a little frail. You could tell she'd taken it the hardest. Mrs. Stewart had made me coffee. She was functioning okay, but she had a dead-behind-the-eyes look. 26 years on, still living in that cocoon of numbness such devastation can bring. We talked a lot. Emma!
Emma get an underscore as rating with a party of 11.
Hello,
Kaysh and the gang
friends.
welcome you.
Ejoff, Kirstwy, Dwelin. Hello, thank you for the raid, Emma. I super duper appreciate it. How are y'all doing? Give me just a second to do a shout out if I can type properly. Oh, it's API error because I haven't updated my bot yet. That's unfortunate. What were you playing? What was going on? How are y'all doing? Welcome in. I'll hop over here dead quick. I think some of you know who I am, but in case you don't, my name is Kayshurrr. You can call me Kaysh. I use they, them pronouns. And I'm a horror game streamer. I like to play scary games here because we love scary games. But yeah, we're playing some The Devil in Me today. It's part of the Dark Horrors Anthology games, or Dark Pictures Anthology games, I should say. It's real neat. It's a choice-based game. You go around, you investigate stuff, and depending on your choices, people may or may not explode. Yeah, it's, to be fair, I haven't streamed a whole ton in the last few months, because I moved, and then was getting used to a new work schedule, and just lots of things are happening. But we're here now, and I'm happy that you're here. You're playing Play Up! And you had friends playing with you. Nice! How was it? Do you enjoy it? Was it good? Right? Sometimes you just gotta take, like, an extended break to sort out everything. But I'm really happy to be back, and, like, I don't know, I've missed streaming so much. Congrats on the move and new job, but also, yeah, that stuff, it's life changes. A single life change on its own is a lot to handle. Multiple life changes all at once is even more. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that y'all are here. Like I said, I like to play horror games. And because of that, we offer content warnings for every single game that we play. It's important to me that you know what kind of content you're getting yourself into, especially since horror stuff can sometimes be a little problematic. So if you ever need that, !CW will pull up a link or a list of all the possible content warnings for the game. We're fairly far into this. I'm hoping to finish by the end, or like finish the game before we end stream, but we'll see. But yeah, Emma and friends, y'all have been streaming and or playing and or watching streams for a good long while. If you need to take a break, please do so. It's important to me that you take care of yourself, so if you need to get up and do a stretch, get some food, get some water, rest your eyes from looking at a computer or phone screen for a while, do that. But if you're gonna stick around for a little bit, I'm happy to have you here, and yeah. How am I finding it compared to the other games in the series? I am reserving most of my judgment until I finish it. Because honestly, like, I think House of Ashes is one of my favorites now, and I hated it at first. I don't dislike this one. I think it's an interesting concept. I'm just not entirely sure how it's gonna pan out in the end. So I don't know, thus far, I've enjoyed the ride. A more formed and, critical opinion may come out, by the end of it. But yeah, so far I've enjoyed it. I would highly recommend them. They're a lot of fun. I like playing them on my own, but I've also played, I think, most of them now. I think I've played all of them except for this one, obviously, with other people. And that's a hoot and a half, as well. I think they're good fun games. If you want something to, even if it's not necessarily like your type of game normally, I think playing it with at least like one other friend or like a group of friends, is real cool and real neat, especially if you like things like Until Dawn. Yeah, I don't know, they're real cool. But yeah, like I said, we are fairly far into this one, but I don't know. Like I said, I've enjoyed it thus far, but, you know, it might end up being that I don't like it in the long run, or it does something very neat that makes it so that I love it. We'll see. Y'all have come in. Same. Again, I like to make sure that, like, that everyone's just aware of the kind of stuff that they might see in a video game. I understand that everyone's got different things that can bother them. Some more than others, and that's important to me that you're going into the stuff that we're playing, at least with the option to be informed, you know? Yeah, so oh, wait, no, go back! I wasn't done reading that one! So yeah, what were we reading about Morello's book? I'm assuming that this is, like, the start of, or like what is it? Like a rough draft of a book that he's writing about a murderer, right? Again, just making sure that everyone knows what kind of content there is. But that's fair. I appreciate you stopping in and bringing your friends by. I totally understand if you want to avoid spoilers and the like. Again, thank you, Emma, for stopping in and saying hi. We really appreciate it. Yeah, so, let's see. Mom was starting to get a little frail. You could tell she'd taken it the hardest. Mrs. Stewart had made me coffee. She was functioning okay, but had a dead behind the eyes look. 26 years on, still living in that cocoon of numbness such devastation can bring. We talked a lot. They were at ease talking about anything. The night it happened, the cruel details, how they felt about him. Just a fact of life to them. Their daughter had been murdered by a serial killer, and that was their world. Sounds really mean. Maybe use kinder words? I don't like the cocoon sentence. Is there a more relatable metaphor? Everything? No promises on not dying. but yeah, it's gonna be good. It was a shock when they offered to show me Mary's room. I was apprehensive, but thanked them and agreed. It would be helpful to get an idea of the kind of girl Mary was. Followed Mrs. Stewart. I could feel the toll that the murder had taken as we walked through the house and upstairs to Mary's room. Her husband didn't like to go into that room. Things were neat and tidy, but shabby. We walked over a beaten old carpet, past outdated wallpaper and paintings, mostly biblical, that were thick with dust. The strain and financial impact must have been huge. Mrs. Stewart hadn't worked since Mary's death. Again, sounds really mean. Can you just say they had a rough time of it without being so descriptive? Maybe explain why. Did she find it difficult to face anyone? Also, rip it and rip it. Her schoolwork was stacked by her bed, and her childhood toys and dolls were still displayed on shelves. What stuck out the most, though, was her uniform, still hanging on the front of the wardrobe, ready for her shift at the diner the next day. Mary was a tiny girl, only 5'1" and weighed less than 100 pounds. She didn't stand a chance that night she was taken. Kept thinking about her room as I drove through the town. Milton would have been an unremarkable place in 1995, but it was close to lifeless now. Mostly boarded up buildings. The only open shops were liquor stores, which had bums outside them, drinking at 11 a.m. It was as if the town had died when Mary did. Eventually, Milton faded in my rearview mirror as the image of Mary's uniform burned into my mind. Go hug Natalie right now, please. Oh, that's one of the notes. I see. Later the next day, I finally got back to our house. Scrambling over a package sat on our doorstep. A brown box. I had no idea who it was from. Had Michelle ordered something? Curiosity took over and I hauled it inside. Opening it, I found an old tape recorder along with a quartet of tapes. I listened to the first one. The voice, unmistakable. It was Sherman. Nope. Mention their interviews? What if I don't? And that's the last of that. Alright, cool, great, love that. Well, now we know that the man who we thought was Dumet... Sorry, the crying caught me. Isn't actually Dumet, but was Morello? In case you missed me, Michelle, warning, writing 8 a.m. Requested to use the library or the music lounge, so assume I'm in one of those. Lunch, family time, 2 p.m. Can we dine outside in the garden? Evening writing, 5 p.m. Bar seems like a good writing spot. Dinner, 9 p.m. And then it's torn. You wanna look at this at all, maybe? The scratches on the floor and the red light coming from behind here. You wanna... No? Okay. I understand. You have more important things to be attending to, I guess. Like, the blood on the walls? It's probably just paint. I wouldn't worry about it. That's all normal. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hi, TK. How are you doing, friend? Bethany! Oh, whoa. Whoa! Wiggly doll. Okay, well... That goes there. Right? Haunted doll watch. It's fine. Soon. You got this. You're gonna be done with work and it's gonna be great. Please stop crying,
Please stop
Mommy.
crying, Mommy.
Kate, I was reading it. That's probably who's dead in the other room. Yeah, you got this. You're gonna get done. It's gonna be great. And then you'll be able to rest, hopefully. Beast's body burgled! Arkansas this week. The body of the so-called Beast of Arkansas has been removed from its grave by suspected body snatchers. The infamous serial killer, whose real name is Manny Sherman, was executed earlier this month, and his remains were buried at an undisclosed cemetery in Springdale. It's 100% the cop. The FBI agent? A senior police spokesperson for local law enforcement stated at a press conference, "We believe this to be the work of serial killer obsessives and are pursuing various leads. We assume there are multiple suspects involved, but have not ruled out that it may be an individual." Although the burial site is unknown, rumors have been circulating among serial killer enthusiast forums. online since Sherman's execution. When questioned by the press about such online groups, the spokesperson added, "These people who call themselves fans of killers are very foolish. If they were aware of the despicable details of such crimes, as we in law enforcement are, they would rethink their views about celebrating such heinous criminals. Spoiler alert, they wouldn't." Police refused to confirm the name of the cemetery to the media in the aftermath of the news. Is there... What's this? Dog!
Honey.
This is horrible. Bearing updated. Hold on a second. I haven't, like, been checking those at all, which is, like, fine. Probably, right? Okay. Read that. I don't...
Focus.
Can I open this? No. Okay. Is it the times? What am I kicking around? What was making that noise? What were the numbers here? 8259? I thought that was a thing I could look at. It's just a flask in a bag. 8259, is that what I said? 8, 2, 5, 9. Oh. Was there... Were there numbers here? No? Okay. What am I missing? Can't really go back there, and these are all locked, right? Not really anything there. I mean, blood. There is blood there. But not... What am I missing? Yeah, we know. That's Morello. $19.95, maybe? Not really, like... There aren't a ton of numbers around here, are there? Maybe I'm just missing something. 1995? No. And this was a secret, so I don't think, like... I mean, it's not very... Excuse me? Okay. Oh. Why? Okay, I understand. No, I understand. I didn't realize Kate had a pencil. Is the thing game? Hi Salvia. How are you doing? I will say I am not a fan of the inventory system. Spare room code 1999. What was written on the pad of paper was a guy with a boner. Probably. We didn't Maybe it was just up in the corner where we didn't scribble on the paper. Also, I was so close. I was 4 digits off. Or 4, yeah. Did 95 instead of 94. Wow, what a secure code this is. This doesn't... I don't think we should be investigating this, is the thing. I think we should be trying to find a way out. As opposed to dicking around more, you know? Call me silly. Hey, it's a premonition. Okay. They get outside? They managed to get outside? I am silly. I do appreciate the confirmation, though. I know, it's expecting a lot. Get out instead of continue to play the murderer's games? Ridiculous. How could I suggest such a thing? That's a dead corpse! Kate! Don't touch it!
Oh my god!
Girl, I've said this since we realized that there was a body back there. It's the Mrs. Morello animatronic, apparently. Thank you, game. Is Charlie okay? Are we getting confirmation? Right, miss, are you okay? That's not how you get ahead in life. Listen, it's gonna be okay. Just gotta remain cool. Keep our head on our shoulders. Hey! Charlie's alive! He is a little burned, though. Just a little crispy. As much as I mean, like, I'm kind of rooting for Charlie now. But, like, I don't know, I was very worried that, like, that was gonna do a murder on him. Can we... No, I can't take that. That's a shame. Okay, man might still be out here, is the thing. Well... This is fine. Can we open that? That's locked. Okay, so we do open that. I understand. But where is the murderer? Where's the Holmes fanboy? Okay, Charlie, let's... You can fit through there, Charlie. Charles! Are you... Hold on. That's gotta be where they want me to go, because it's very obvious, right? And this is... a dead end anyway. Okay. Ooh! Ooh! Lockpick, let's go! Oh, it's an obol. That's all. It's just a single obol! God. Oh, never mind. It was 5. That, I'm a little less annoyed about that then. Alright, what's in here? It's gonna jump scare us. Nothing. It was fine, in fact. I don't know why any of you were worried. Right, that's gonna be locked. I'm gonna have to move that. But we'll still try it anyway. JK won't even let me attempt it. It's just telling me that it's locked. Grab that. Can I put this in front of the door? Just to annoy man if he tries to come through? This is horrible. I don't want to be here. Oh! Can I look at that? Okay, we'll look at the thing on the floor and not the jacket that says FBI, I guess. I am a little worried about them doing a big reveal that the murderer is the FBI agent. Mostly because I feel like they've made it incredibly obvious, and so I'm hoping that it is just a red herring, but I'm also not entirely sure that it is. You know? Charlie, that noise! It's the lower workshop. Let's turn that power on.
There we go.
Hey!
Please. Don't do anything.
Okay, before we find a way out... Joints, hinges, etc. Note layering under. PVC alt? GAT? I don't know what any of this says. Some of this is very hard to read. Extraocular muscles. Okay. I'm sure that's our way out. So before we do that, let's look at this.
Help me! I can't see a light.
A fucking fake.
Please.
It's true, it is a fake. What are you doing? What are you doing, you fool? We gotta go center, right?
They never hurt anyone. Just leave them alone. We'll do whatever you want.
What's this one?
Please, please, I'll do anything.
And then this one?
No, please. Just leave them alone.
Okay. Well, that's neat. Is there anything else here? Hey! Sorry. Excuse me. Oh! Okay. Remember, 2, switch off and lock out. Stay clear of the moving belt. Evacuate via the immediate emergency ladders. We gotta keep off the conveyor belt. Because riding on the conveyor at any time can cause severe injuries. Like an entanglement hazard! Conveyor may start moving without warning. Remember to switch off and lock out. Stay clear of the moving belt. Evacuate via the emergency ladders. Yeah, don't shake hands with danger. Don't do it. It's danger. Can I... No. Game, how do I lock it? Listen, I'm trying to be safe about this, right? Hit the button. Hit the button.
Please, please, I'll do anything.
anything, you say? Can I use you? I don't... Switch off and lock out. Stay clear of the moving belt. Turn it off. Listen. Well, I guess we have to go in. I thought he was gonna get smacked by that. Good job, Charlie. Regular old Charlie hustle. Hide. Actually, this feels like a bad option that I have made. Charlie! No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. Okay. Is he just gonna leave the crusher on? Holy shit, Charlie. Man has made some dicey choices today and still managed to survive.
Shit!
It's true, man doesn't care about his power bills. Oh, it's gotta be Jamie, right?
It's me! Get in here! Thank God.
That scream, though.
What the hell is this?
Just secret rooms, it's fine.
Pleased to see you too, Kate. Glad you're alive.
Listen.
We gotta
I found
find
out some
Mark.
new information.
What?
That guy on the ferry, that was not Dumet. That was Joseph Morello. He's a true crime writer. I found one of his books.
How's he wrapped up in this?
I don't know.
I
In
mean,
one
we
of the
know he got
bedrooms,
invited out
There
here.
was a body, a woman. She'd been decapitated. It was Joseph
Decaffeinated.
Morello's wife. I saw a photo of her. She was called Michelle.
Oh, right,
So
we
they're
did
not
find
his
that
first
photo
victims.
earlier.
Have you seen Mark?
No.
Not in person, but I spotted him on one of these monitors.
Decaffeinated.
I was worried sick about him.
But I also saw Dumet running around.
The real Dumet, that is. The real fake Dumet. I don't think Dumet is a real man. Oh! This is fine. Go! 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 Stop lingering! Go! You fools! You must leave!
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
What is all of this?
He's got video feeds, recording decks, a mixer big enough for countless mics.
He's watching everything.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
He's got utilities running through here, hydraulics, electrics, everything. He can control the whole building from here.
Are we
How far down
shocked?
does it go?
This all connects. This is how he's getting around the house.
I mean, yeah. Like,
Charlie
sorry.
would say this guy is a fractured psyche. That he's wearing a mask to put what he's doing on a different personality.
That's probably just his theory because he can't reconcile a human doing this stuff. I think it's a mistake to say he's just crazy. He is in full control of what he's doing. He's just not wired like the rest of us.
That's not crazy.
Okay, thank you, wait, this is from Amber Harris to Brandon
Crazy
Day.
implies out of control. Look at this place.
Okay, can we
This
stop
is
talking?
methodical. That's not crazy. No.
Thank you, Brandon. I've instructed our maker,
He's wearing the mask as part of the
proceed.
performance. At best, maybe he's insecure about something and it gives him confidence.
Insecure. Like, low self-esteem?
These
Is he
bitches won't stop
uncomfortable at
talking.
parties? Did his mommy not hug him enough?
As discussed
Bad
previously, we'll keep the
parenting
production
can
discreet.
definitely be a factor.
Shut up!
It could be a shitty dad just as much, or an uncle, any adult figure really.
Good morning, Amber. Thanks for your reply and putting my mind at rest.
Are you
Yes, the
reading
cost
of
is
our
perfectly fine.
research?
Oh
I
my
just set up the
god!
notes.
Stop! Stop talking!
I'm sure he fits the profile. Bullied as a kid, unchecked anger. As an adult, he's either an extreme overachiever or a cipher. Nothing between.
Good morning, Amber. Thanks
He
for
likes
your
being in a
reply.
position of power.
I am going to
especially over women.
strangle
Cool,
Kate.
but why? Lots of people put up with that stuff and don't turn into killers.
Aside from the unhealthy obsession with H.H. Holmes, he's copying the M.O. Clearly, he identifies with Holmes somehow.
Are you done? Are we done?
Can we use this gear to find a
No.
way out?
No, we're not done.
Maybe we can open those shutters in the lobby.
Yes, the cost is perfectly fine. Please go ahead. A reminder, this should remain confidential. Good morning, Brandon. I can assure you that all of our custom masks are very robust. They are often used in long-running theater productions and filming intense action scenes. The material used for your mask is a plastic resin-coated wood, which provides a toughened strength and is highly durable. The total cost would be $1,800, excluding taxes. Can you let me know if this is acceptable, and I will instruct our maker to proceed. Can I flip it over? No? Okay. That was such a struggle. That shouldn't have been as difficult to read as it was.
Chicago Police, Mr. Monday, this is Chicago Police. Can you open the door, please? Mr. Monday, I'm Officer Stanley with Chicago Police Department. Can you hear me, sir? Agent Monday.
It's mostly annoying because they have like such weird breaks between.
Oh, dispatch, this is Officer Stanley. I need assistance at 8 West 50th Street, requesting immediate backup.
The breaks and how they were talking were just so obnoxious.
I'm
It made it
Agent
sound like
Monday's
they were done
department.
and they weren't.
There's blood everywhere and a body. I need immediate support. I think.
Well, that's fine. It fine. What do we
He's
got
been
here?
tracking us since we arrived. Mark was last seen in the basement.
Charlie Furnace, crossed out. Aaron, blackout room, crossed out. Mark, basement. Jamie, south corridor. Kate, north corridor. Hey, Sam. There we go. There we go. I don't know what buttons are anymore. Hey, Sam. Hey, my good friend Sam. I don't have captions on here. We'll go here instead. My good friend Sam. You should probably do some dishes. You know, it'd be good. You'll get them done, and then you won't have to do them at all today, and that's exciting. And then you'll have clean dishes to eat food off of, and that's even more exciting! So if you would kindly, go do your dishes for me, I'd appreciate it. You can listen to me while I stream, and you do dishes. It'll be like we're keeping you company! It is true. TK has a point. Did you know that doing your dishes increases your likelihood of dishes getting clean? Wowie. Bye, Sam, I love you. Reminder, cleanliness of a space is morally neutral, but also it's probably a good thing to do your dishes.
Take a look at this.
I highly recommend doing your dishes. I hadn't done dishes for a couple of days, and I did my dishes today.
What is that?
So, you know,
The guy
if
we
I've
saw
done them, you
murdered.
should too.
Was it set up?
There was no groundskeeper.
We saw a guy in a yellow jacket with our stuff.
I guess that was Mr. Demet.
It's true. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, friend. Okay, so this is... I think we've, like, looked at everything here. Unless... Okay, yeah, I don't think any of these doors are usable. Can we go up? I want to look at everything, is the thing. So this is the top floor. We'll start here and work our way down, right? There's probably so many goodies around here. Like this tape.
Hi, Mr. Monday. This is Lucinda Price from Twilight Prairie Care Home. I've tried to call you a couple of times. I understand that you're making voice recordings of your mother, and we do believe in supporting relatives, and of course, you want to capture those precious memories. But, we've had complaints from some of the other residents who are disturbed by the volume and the content of the recordings, and also some of the language used. We would like to ask that these recordings stop with immediate effect.
What is
Please
he?
do call me if you want to discuss this further. Thanks.
I am curious as to what he has on those recordings. Sir? Oh, no, I don't want to go there, because that progresses. Again, I really appreciate the fact that they have added the, like, extra icon to show you, like, where, like, how to leave an area so you're not necessarily, like, accidentally progressing when you're trying to just explore. I appreciate this, because I just want to explore. Also, I was kind of expecting to be able to explore all the floors. Apparently not. Oh, that's fine, I guess. Okay. What's this? Open it up, Kate.
This is everything about me.
Personal health and medical
Jesus.
form. Jamie Tiergan is 26 years. The lady. A positive blood. Last checkup was on 1/12/2022. This is terrifying. Contact father. Chronic reoccurring conditions. Got anxiety and allergies to penicillin. Same. Additional note, self-destructive tendency and impulsive on Jamie's. There's a PTSD question mark next to Kate. Oh, that was because of her friend getting murdered, isn't it? We know that Aaron had asthma and self-confidence issues. And it looks like recently treated acrophobia. Looks like he chose Mark to be the next ferryman. And then Charlie has a note of borderline narcissist. Ugh. No, he's just self-centered. Okay. Can I inspect the board?
He's profiling us.
Yeah, he is. Isn't that cool? Aren't we excited about that? Alright, get me out of here. Anything else that we can look at? So much stuff here, holy crap. June Collins, 41 years, open-minded, simple to coerce, healthy, seemingly no major health issues. Within a 1,000 kilometer nuclear family of 5, but they're have an estranged extended family, fluent in Spanish and French. They're ambidextrous, travels a lot, runs late at night, runs when traveling as well. Okay.
We're not the first.
Andrew Collins? No, we're not. Come on, put it together. Andrew Collins, 38 years old, average build, did amateur boxing, deal with first. Unknown medical condition, follow up on this. Right-handed, insecure? Small but close extended family. Will they call them? One parent deceased, other ill, medical bills? Pressure? Caffeine addict. Aren't we all, though? Okay, well, that's that. What's this one? I can use my pencil here! Michelle initially appeared excited, becoming increasingly agitated, rarely alone, more difficult to separate her. Wandered the hotel later last night. Opportunity? Bathed away from the family. Or bathed away from family room. Noticeably tired towards the end of the day. Drink socially. Use this heavy sleeping pills. Target her at the end of the day. Give wine and sleeping pills when bathing. Separate her. And then we'll do this. What does that say? Harrison Lee, death via asphyxiation, reset trap before the next group arrives. Lewis Lee, drowned. Fish body out of a pool. Cecil Hall, death from blood loss after impalement on a sundial. Body disposed of. Kurt Hall, multiple gunshot wounds. Thomas Hall, single gunshot wound. Execution. Okay. We get it. This is how he wants to do a murder on people. Understood. Sounds good, TK. Get those dishes done. Proud of y'all for doing your dishes. And thank you for the lurk, friend. Alright. Upstairs. It's time to progress to the next area. Let's see what happens. We gotta find Mark. Charlie will find us eventually, I imagine. Oh.
Over here!
Look at this. It saw its little tricks of moving walls and crap.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in this shitbox is real.
Yeah.
It controls everything from here. It's a murder factory.
Yeah.
Right. We should use this against them.
All right.
How?
What's your plan?
Smush him with a wall.
Okay, look. He's in here, right? So we get him to go down this hall, and we trap him between these two moving walls. There's no other way out of there. He'd be stuck.
Okay. But how do you make sure he goes down that hall to begin with?
Somebody's gotta run.
One of us is going to have
To be bait.
Yup.
No, no way. It's too risky, Jamie.
So is letting him run free. I'd say that's more dangerous. Come on.
What's
There's
one
no
person
second
versus
chances.
all of y'all?
It's my plan. I'll be the bait.
If you're sure, just... If it looks like it's going south, get the hell out of there.
No argument here.
You could use that as a weapon if need be.
I'm gonna hang on to it. I'm more likely to need it.
I am concerned because I think this is the premonition that we saw of Jamie getting smushed, and I don't know what the correct option here is.
Let's do this.
Stick to the plan.
Obviously.
So how do we get out?
Okay.
Third floor must be a work in progress.
Okay.
Okay, be ready. You're gonna have to time it right to trap him and not me. All right. Here goes nothing.
I'm concerned. This is gonna go so bad. I'm gonna fuck this up. Jamie, I'm just gonna apologize now for maybe doing a murder on you. It's not intentional. Give me that coin, though. Let's go. Okay. This is a lot of pressure all of a sudden. I don't wanna fuck this up, but I'm gonna.
Head down the hall. Keep to the right.
Keep to the right, meaning go all the other directions except for right. Jump scare?
Was this on the map?
I don't know. I didn't really get to look at the map, is the thing, Jamie. Is there anything? No secrets hiding here. Oh, I don't want to be here. I am concerned about everything. I just don't want to. I don't want to get Jamie dead. It's just you, my dude. Like, I like Jamie.
More rooms being built.
I'm concerned about her. You know... What's this? More coins. That's a 10 coin. Love that for me. Excuse you. Isn't that the office at the spa? Might not be. I might just be pretending I know where I am. I am scared. I am worried. But I want to find secrets. Is this the way they want me to go? Because if that's the case, I might need to go elsewhere first. Like here, there's a premonition here. So Mark has the option of getting gasked. Gasked? Gassed? Mark might die. Okay. So this is where I needed to go. That doesn't open. That doesn't open. And I think I have looked at everything that's here. Okay, understood. Guess it's time to go through. game.
Shit!
But
Come on, bitch.
I'm scared. Bluff?
Stay the fuck away from me, you psycho!
Oh shit. What the hell is your problem, Jamie?
Close it! Fucking close it! No, no, not yet!
Did we do it? He's gonna come out of the shadows. Yeah. That was your chance, my guy! Fuck.
Jamie, fucking run!
Oh, God.
Wow, we've done this so bad. Bye, Kate. I'm not stopping for her.
Jamie!
You idiots.
Shit!
What is it?
A button. There's a reverse symbol on it.
What does it?
Shit, no!
That's not gonna. Hi, Allie.
Move! Move!
Well, yeah, that's you.
Jamie!
Well, this is
Kate,
when she gets
I think
smooshed.
when I hit this thing, the wall will go the other way.
Towards me, you mean?
Yeah, this thing will kill me if I don't press it. Wait! I know! If I do press it, then you're the one that dies.
Goddamn Dumet! This is exactly what he wants. He's making you choose which one of us dies.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm not I guess Defiant?
Fuck this. I'm not playing this game. I can't do this. I won't kill you.
Yeah, but I'm not one for inaction, you know? She's gonna get smushed, and I'm not happy about this. Are we stuck? Game, what's happening?
Jamie? I'm not doing it. I'm not playing this game.
I hate this.
Tell everyone I chose this, Kate. And if you get the chance to fuck Demet up, do it. Promise me.
I promise.
No, fuck.
Yeah, I should have pushed it.
Jamie! Thank you. Thank you. Survive, Kate.
I should have pushed the button. It's very thick glass. Yeah.
What an excruciating way to go.
I liked
Jamie
Jamie
wouldn't press the
though.
button. She chose to spare Kate at the cost of her own life.
It is cakes, and we have seen some cakes.
People can surprise you sometimes. It's a catchy tune, isn't it? Erin's.
I was also considering that if I pushed the button,
Sadly,
that
it
it
didn't
might
work.
still squish me, but if I
Meanwhile,
didn't,
Charlie has proved
then
himself
it
capable,
wouldn't. But no,
surviving the
apparently,
furnace and every other
apparently it
obstacle.
was just a
Who
it's a
would have
squish
thought it?
situation. Now I know for next time. I'm saving all the characters
Did the hint I gave you earlier help?
No. I'm saving all the
you'd like
characters I don't
another.
like, and that makes me mad. Sure, we'll take another hint. It's not going to be helpful.
Let's see if Sir Arthur can help us.
He didn't
This
help last
is
time!
From The Man with the Twisted Lip. Have you read it? You should. A trusty comrade is always of use, and a chronicler still more so. I think that last bit might refer to me. You should get back. I hope these chats are helpful. I certainly wouldn't want them to be intimidating.
They're not that
I'll
helpful.
be watching your progress.
I need to see more ass.
As always, watching very closely.
Sir. Just a little, just a tiny itty bitty bit down. Just pan down, just a little. Congrats, Sam, I'm proud of you. Good job. Oh, hey!
Oh, that motherfucker. Come on.
Allie, do your bills! If you do them now, then you won't have to do them for a while. I'll give everyone the pep talks on doing the things that they need to get done. This can be my job today.
Come on.
But also, Jamie survived! Yeah, you do. My username's Kayshurrr, just like everywhere. Oh, man's back. Where's Mark? And where's Charlie? Is this Mark? That's Mark. Oh, hi, Mark! Yeah, Sam, add me. So we've managed to save everyone so far except for Aaron. Which, like, I'm sad that Aaron died. I did like her. But we're doing pretty alright so far, I think. You know?
Come on, hurry!
Considering everyone is, like, actively trying to get themselves killed. He's gonna stab you. We're gonna do a bit of a shining moment here. Oh! Ah! I thought I had fucked that one up. Jesus! Kick him!
Get away from me!
I mean, listen, this doesn't work in DVD. I don't think it's gonna work here either. Kate, if you're in there for too long, a crow is gonna show your location.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, they did! They did in the last one, too, in House of Ashes.
Just breathe.
Yeah, no, honestly, the Dark Pictures Anthology games have, like, really good accessibility options. Like, you can even change, yeah, she should have looped him. Throwing a pallet down. Hold on. Just a quick sort of... glance over our accessibility options, you can have single action buttons, hold to complete instead of mashing. You can disable the QTE times, like the timers for it. You can also disable the timers for combat. You got the dyslexia font. You got all your subtitle options. Yeah, they've been very good about the accessibility options, and it makes me happy. Oh. Oh. Obviously there could always be more. There are always more options for accessibility, but they're doing a pretty good job. Especially for a game like this that's like so quick time event heavy, the fact that they like give options to like change that is really neat. Which, you know, means no other game has an excuse for not working on some of their mechanics to make it more accessible to more folks. Ah! I'm scared. I think by having the crystal, that section is a lot easier, which is exciting. Dang! Don't hurt the rat. Don't leave the locker yet, Kate. No! Run! We just gotta run. Oh, I almost didn't hit that one. Whiff. Yeah! That's how you do it! Please watch where you're running.
No! No! Get your
shit! We saw the premonition for this one. Game load! Game, I need you to load properly, please! It's thinking about it. I gotta save her. Rip his mask off!
Baby! Run! Stay away from me.
I'm not entirely sure what just happened there, but, you know. Oh! I'm not sure he's getting up from that.
I take back all the times I called you bitch face. You're my fucking hero, Kate.
I figured if I let you die, you'd haunt me.
You're not wrong.
Okay, but can we check to make sure this man is dead, like, properly?
Damn.
Again, I don't think he's getting up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's dead.
Thanks. The fucker's dead. He saved us.
We still have to get out of here.
Which would be a lot easier without him on our asses.
I need somebody to check for a pulse. That's a hat. I need you to...
Rot in hell, asshole!
double tap, please. I need someone to... See? Listen! Ah! The man himself is an animatronic. This is gonna be the big reveal, right?
Don't stop!
I need these fools to understand. Listen. I was wrong. He did get up from it, but like, I needed someone to check. Alright, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing this again. Okay.
Are you okay?
No.
I'm in one piece.
Escape from the maze. Excuse me. There's nothing back here. Jamie? Hey, Jamie, I need you to move. Thank you. What's this? Why is this painting out here? Okay, well this has been neat and fun and cool, and we've got another premonition. Is that a gun or an axe? Also, have I gotten all those? Oh, we found a lot of things. Still missing a few, though. Pictures. I'm missing... 2. We have one more for this game, and then assumably the center one, if it's like the other ones, is for whatever the next game is gonna be. Which will probably be like a couple of years from here on out, since this is the like the season finale or whatever. Which is fair. They've just released 4 games, 5 technically if we're counting the Quarry. But 4 of these of the Dark Pictures games in the last like 4 or 5 years. Give them a break. Okay. I feel like there's a lot that could be missed here. Excuse you, Crow. I want to find all the things, but I'm also scared that man is gonna find us. Katie, why aren't you, or Kate, why aren't you moving? What's this? Nothing I can interact with. Great.
This is gross.
It's just wet out here. It's fine. It's a little water. Excuse you, music. It's also very hard to, like, see anything. Because aiming with the flashlight is, like, impossible. Okay, there's nothing here.
What was that book you lent me?
Navigating the Maze of Anxiety?
Yeah, well, I could sure use that now.
You know, it wasn't about mazes.
Yeah, I got that bit.
Look, I don't want it to come across as if I thought you had a problem. Just sometimes when I'm going through a shitty time, I just assume that everyone else is too.
I know. It was good.
You read it?
Yeah. Read all of it, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, not much of a plot, you know, not much character development, but some good stuff in there. It helped.
Good. I'm glad.
Okay,
I gave a copy to Charlie, but I don't think he's got round to opening it yet.
I know he's your son, but I married you for you, not your son. Besides, it's your ex-wife's responsibility to stop him from doing stupid things, not mine. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm maybe just depressed already because of this trip. It's not what I had in mind when you said you were taking me away to a secret island. I don't care if he is Harrison Lee, the famous horror fiction writer. You only work for him. You don't have to go on vacation with him, too. Can we spend some time, just the two of us? Cecil. No. No. Hey, I don't want to be here. Listen. It seems not great here. Therefore, I would like to leave. Can I look at this? Excuse me. Jamie. Okay, we can't actually, like, do anything with that. Fine. Great. Follow the left-hand wall, right? Oh. Not that one. Oh, hello. I need a handle. Where's the switch? We're gonna flip it and it's gonna make all sorts of noise and then man's gonna know that we're here. Do we not see why this is a bad option? I don't wanna be in here. It's bad here. Coin? That's a coin. It's another 10. I found so many opals. Hi, is there a handle here? There is. Great. That's for me.
Maybe we can get this thing working.
We can't, it's not on now, is the thing. Okay, is it around here? No, it was over here. I know where I'm going. I'm sorry, it's just so dark. What are you doing? That's... okay. Hey! We can make the things make noise now! So that man knows exactly where we are! And can come do a murder on us! That's exactly what we want! Right, that was not the right way to switch at all. That was incorrect? We should have given it to Jamie. She's the electrician here, right? She's not really an electrician. She's the lights person. But she's been messing with some electric panels and stuff. She has a better idea of what's going on than we do. Oh, is this the couple from the very beginning of the game? That's locked. Alright, down we go, I guess. I feel like leaving it on is not a good idea, but here we are. How did you get here? Jamie is teleporting, and it's concerning to me. Alright, what's this? Shoeshine killer killed?
Good morning, Chicago. We begin today with some breaking news. Chicago police today confirmed the body of a man found in a fire at an abandoned warehouse in the Fulton River District to be that of missing FBI agent Hector Monday. Monday has been identified as the Shoeshine Killer, whose recent killing spree struck fear into the hearts of locals in and around Chicago. A spokesperson for Chicago PD confirmed Monday murdered 4 victims, including yesterday evening police officer Patrick Stanley, a dedicated veteran of 22 years. The fire was brought under control shortly before 5 a.m. this morning. The body recovered at the scene was burnt beyond recognition, but police identified Monday from dental records.
We did see that mannequin that had all those human teeth in it. Monday's the killer. Like, we know this, right? And he's probably now, like, some weird animatronic man. Because there's no way that any normal person would survive that fall. Horribles. Alright, what you doing? What you doing over here? Okay, cool. Good talk. Alright, let's go. Where are you crawling? Good job, Allie! Good on ya. Glad you got those done. Woof. You got this, though. And then you won't have to do it for a bit. Why can't I move? This is not where we came in from. Okay. We are leaving, though. I am concerned. Okay, this is a different place. Why is this bench green? Just lights. Okay, we are on the other side of the fence, though. Which is nice. And here's the house. Murder Hotel. Is there anything cool over here? Anything worthwhile? Examine. Kurt Hall? Publicist? Should I know who that is? Oh, it's the guy that was impaled by the sundial. I understand. We read about that. Neat. What is this? What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Okay. Again, just checking for items and clues. Wow, I hate it here.
Jesus. What are those things?
I mean, they're animatronics, right? Mannequins!
Go!
At least some of them were. It's scary, man. Get it, get the axe.
Go!
You fool! Okay, well, now we have to hide. Because this looks like that premonition. I think we run. We don't have time to barricade. See.
Hurry the fuck up!
Love me a man with an axe. Watch out! Watch out!
Come on. Please don't do this.
Oh, he's gonna. Well, bye. Can't believe they're fucking dead. What happened to Mark and Charlie? We've been hanging out with Jamie and Kate for a while. If it ever considers loading. There it goes. Hey, it's our boy Mark! We're at the swimming pool! Did he ever fish the body out of the pool? That's the real question. Okay, so this is where we came from, right? Not taking many pictures. Nothing's lighting up green, so, you know, what can you do?
Damn it.
I need a key? Maybe we just put that away. Oh. This? Is that what you wanted me to take a picture of?
Jesus.
That's a hand! Can I have that key, please? Thanks. That's the changing room key. Let's go. Oh yeah, I have I forgot, I have my monopod with pointy bit on it, right? What was it, a drill bit? That's just like loosely duct taped in place. Oh gosh. What could possibly go wrong? It's definitely not a flimsy weapon or anything. Inspecting. Incredibly bright, and now it's incredibly dark. Where's the door? It's over here. Mark, please stop running into the poles. Let's go. Can I have that? Oh, okay. Well, let's open it up and then take a picture.
Oh God. What happened here?
Is this the guy that got shot? We, no? Okay.
What's that?
Probably just an animal. Nothing in here. I can't see how to get out. Hello? Hold on. Can I take a picture of any of this? Is any of this worth taking a picture of? Would seem that the answer is no. What's going on in here? Oh, he's broken. Harrison and Lewis Lee. Gay? Excuse you. Just very loud.
What the hell?
Oh. Can we, No? No picture? Okay. What's under here? What are these awful noises? Also, there's a mannequin to our left. Don't freak out. He's just right there. Just a silly guy. What's this? More ovals. It's just two. Okay, well, let's get back to it, I guess. Also, I thought our camera strap broke. Or, like, at least detached from our camera. How do we get that back? I have questions. Okay, are we... Ooh, last premonition. Well, one of the last premonitions. Oh! Oh! Okay! Don't let Mark get fucking axed. That means we have one more to find for the next game, I think. That's exciting. Oh! Oh!
Oh, shit.
Oh, I almost messed that up! It's fine. Did we die? No. How much more do we have of this? That bad yell, though. We have to be getting close to the end, right? Like, I know I've spent a lot of time just messing around and looking at stuff, but like, we gotta be getting there, right?
Mark! Hey! Mark!
Hello? It's like the Dalek Doctor in World War II episode of Doctor Who? Maybe? I mean, you would know. I'll have to believe you on that one.
I could use that.
Can you open it? No, no open. Unless... See, it's been long enough since I've seen it that I can't remember man's face off the top of my head. But, do we, though? You know how I feel about Matt Smith as the Doctor. We do gotta catch up on New Who, though.
I can make that.
I know you love him. I don't. Can we open this now? Hey! Give me this. Give me box. Let me bump box into everything. Are we going just here? Just anywhere? Get on up. Get on up. Nope. Okay. Where? There. There, I see. I understand where we're going. Where the barbed wire is broken. Let's go. We should also continue our Classic Who marathon. I'm here for it. I was enjoying Classic Who. / generally just hanging out. I miss it. I don't have a particular time frame on it at the moment, but I am saving up to fix my car. I had originally been promised that I'd be helped out with it, and that's not happening, so it is just me funding it at the moment, but I'm almost there. Soon! I say soon. Within the next, like, I'm hoping to have it resolved within the next, like, 3 or 4 months, and that's, like, an incredibly... I want to say that's incredibly generous, just because I don't think it's going to take me that long to save up to fix it, and I know where to go to get it fixed. And, you know, I'm not necessarily relying on other people to take care of it for me anymore.
Hello?
That looked like a dog? I think that's a dog. I think there is a dog here. We love Ms. Wannabe and her crusade against birds. I think we have determined that it is a me issue and not my car. To be fair. 74 birds in Ms. Wannabe, though. Hello, dog. Please don't bite me. No, but, like, seriously, I am able to save up money to fix it now and, like, have the means to, like, address it, and it's very exciting for me. You know. Which is great. I have things I have to do that involve me needing a car. Game, you can't scare me with the dog. I know it's a dog, and the dog is probably gonna bite me, and it's gonna be very sad, because I will probably punch dog. Classic Who and Discord would be fine. New Who definitely has to happen in person. Agreed. Agreed. Okay, can I not do anything over here? Can I climb up here? I can, okay. But also, I just want to see my friends. Is that Connie? Why did dog have human teeth? Dog, I need you to stop barking, okay?
Yeah, fucking fetch.
Charlie, please. Charlie, listen. Bearing updated. I keep wanting to check those, but I'm not gonna. Just know that I want to. I figure I won't for now. Just because, like, might show what's going on. Do I have, like, multiple options for getting where I need to go? Or are some of these blocked? Guess I had multiple options. Which means there might be goodies hidden around here. What's up here? Is that the way you want me to go? That has to be the way they want me to go. So what's up here? What are you hiding from me, game? You've hidden nothing. You've just given me many, many options. Oh. How do I get... Oh, I needed to get up here. Charlie, I don't think this is a good idea. Hear me out. Consider. It's fine, actually. Wasn't even an issue. Mark! Mark!
Mark? What the hell? Charlie? You're alive. With broken ribs.
No, I don't think he broke them.
Charlie, I thought you were dead. I nearly was. I'm sorry for that. I thought...
Aww.
I'm so glad we're both alive. I nearly went up in flames. I know.
This is a good time for a hug.
You saw it.
Yeah.
On a monitor. The whole place is wired. Where are the others? Mark, are they safe?
Oh.
Erin is dead. What? Dumet killed her. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
What have I got us into here?
Her body was a murder game. Is what you've done.
Mutilated. Erin. Jesus. We were all separated trying to get out. Dumet has the entire place rigged with traps. We've fallen right into his game. We have to get out of here. Get back to the ferry. Dumet disabled it. We all agreed we'd head for the lighthouse, see if we can't signal for help. I don't suppose there's any good news. Actually... I never thought I'd see this again.
Oh, it's the lighter. Okay, I was very confused as to what that block was. It's fine. Shall we get through? Mark says, I'm leaving. That's fair, buddy. Shimmy on through. Let's go.
Jesus.
Do we have anything cool over here? Anything for me to scavenge? I think usually, I'm still thinking about the premonitions. I think the last one that, like, hints at what the next game is going to be is usually pretty obvious. I think? I could be wrong. Still want to keep my eyes peeled for it, but may not need to be as hyper vigilant as I'm being.
I need to find a way out.
There's a ladder. I just wanted to see if we could get in this way, that's all. See, there's a ladder right here, buddy. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Just watch out! Okay, let's go back over here. Can I... shimmy my way over this way. See what's going on over here. Perhaps. Yeah. Oh, I can just get in here? Is that the last one? Ah! Alright, alright. What do we got? Space? Dude got blasted. Okay. I'm curious. I'm interested. I'm here for space. That'll be real neat. I mean, we do know that, you know, in this universe, aliens are a thing, so... I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Like it. Alright, what do we got here? Medical history, patient's name, Monday, Hector Whalen. Family physician, Charles Brown. 8:30:72, I saw Hector, 7-year-old male, in my office today. He was accompanied by his mother, who informed me that Hector is complaining of feeling sick and very tired. Upon examining Hector, who appears to be mildly undernourished, Upon examining Hector, he appears to be mildly undernourished. He is underweight and has very pale skin. Mother also prescribed 2 milligrams diazepam tablets to be taken up to 3 times a day when required. 9:27:72, I saw Hector, 7-year-old male, in my office today as a follow-up to the recent hospital admission for acute bronchitis. Hector has collapsed during school lessons. Hector is recovering well from the virus in the 2 weeks since hospital admission, which was likely caused by mixing with other children at school while his immune system was weakened by malnutrition. When examining Hector's chest, I discovered bruising on his underarms and shoulders, caused by rough play at school. Hector advised to avoid such activity. Mother advised to refrain from smoking around Hector, especially while he is recovering. I will arrange follow-up appointment in 1 week. I saw Hector, 7-year-old male, in my office today at my request. Hector was almost fully recovered from bronchitis. Bruising is worsened, caused by significant force. More likely an adult than school friends. Arranged to follow up in 1 week. I saw Hector, 7-year-old male, in my office today at my request. He was accompanied by his grandfather, George. Hector's original bruising has subsided. Grandfather advised that I examine Hector's legs. Ankle swollen with cuts as if he has been restrained. Grandfather suspects that Hector's mother isn't coping. Arranged follow-up with Hector's mother. No, that's fair. I also think that, like, he didn't necessarily become a serial killer because of it. I think he was pushed by another serial killer. I'm worried that Monday is going to be the murderer, just given that they've, like, essentially told us from the get-go that that's the case, and I don't think... The more they talk about it, the more it seems unlikely. Or just, I'll be annoyed about it. I mean, man became a cop, if nothing else, which, like... Gross. Horrible. Bad. He started out as a serial killer. Or as a cop, and then potentially became a serial killer.
What is that smell?
Bad.
Ugh.
Formaldehyde, possibly? And or rotting bodies.
I saw Doc out here.
Yeah, I did too. Scared the shit.
Yes, he's wiggling on the patio.
Panicking, most likely.
Whose clothes are these? I don't recognize these clothes. Can I inspect? Okay. Well, that's the garden. Great. Perfect. Hey, I bet you that there are bodies in there. How's your head? 2 victims discovered with heads switched. Another gruesome scene was discovered in the crimes. Wait, oh no, that's a different column. Discovered in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Dalton, Georgia. The 2 victims are believed to be the latest in the homicidal spree of the imaginary killer. Alongside the 2 victims, FBI agent Monday reportedly counted multiple repurposed body parts at the crime scene that appear to be from past victims. Monday described the macabre animatronics uncovered as deranged creations that are an insult to victims' humanity. DNA is yet to confirm if they are in fact the missing body parts of previous victims. I also wonder if it was the original, like, Arkansas murderer, like the monster of Arkansas or whatever. The Beast, I think is what they called them. Go be social. Is they having you stop in, though? Take care, Allie. We'll plan a time to do some loot together. It'll be great. I think I have my work schedule set up, so I'll be streaming more regularly, which is exciting for myself and I think for a lot of people. So, yeah. Just took me a while to get into the swing of things. But we got this. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I mean, you have a baby. Babies are kind of time-consuming. Hey, you should probably turn your lighter off. Hey, Charlie? Quiet. We'll figure it out, though.
Calm.
Charlie, shut up and put that down. He's looking right at you! Oh my god. Turn it off! Charlie is an actual idiot. Charlie is a goddamn idiot. Charlie, turn your lighter off and close the fucking fridge. Dude. Guess it didn't matter. Oh my goodness. Escape the curing facility. Ew.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
I mean, he's gonna make...
preserving his kills.
Yeah! He's gonna make animatronics!
Why?
Because
they're valuable to him.
Yeah.
The trophies.
Yeah.
Keepsakes.
Show that he's done a thing.
Still seems to know a lot. Do you think maybe we're dealing with more than one person? What do you mean? Tending this place, the weird robots, the traps. Could it be just one man?
It's one man. One very driven, very disturbed man.
I don't know. Yucky. Mark, are you taking pictures of this? You should take pictures of this, Mark. Hey, Mark! Hey, bud! I request that you take pictures of all this. Let's go ahead and pick that lock. Give me that coin. Is it a 5? Hard to tell. Oh, it's a 10! Nice. Oh, yuck. Let me tell you how stinky this would be. Very. Okay. We are getting to the 2-hour markers, which is normally when I've been stopping. But I feel like we're like maybe an hour off from finishing, potentially a little sooner. We have to be getting towards the end.
This holds.
Right? Like, wait, what's that? Ooh.
All units, this is dispatch. Be on the lookout for a male suspect believed to be the Shoe Shine Killer. Suspect is FBI Special Agent Hector Monday. He may be armed and is highly dangerous.
Dispatch, this is Officer Martinez. I found Monday's car, requesting backup.
Officer Martinez, what's your location?
A warehouse on Park Avenue, Fulton River. Looks abandoned.
Officer Martinez, backup on its way. Hold your position.
Copy that. Shit! He's seen me!
Officer Martinez, hold your position.
Were there mines on the island?
Shit!
Shit. Sorry. I thought there were like...
Dispatch, the building's on fire.
Like a bunch of like broken like walks and paths and stuff. Please no. No further. Maybe. I know that the quarry had mines in it, and House of Ashes had that like whole underground section, which was like admittedly most of the game, but maybe that's, I don't know. We'll keep going until I just decide I can't anymore. Tomorrow is gonna be Scarlet Hollow though if the game releases, so. Ah! Okay, it's fine. Good job, Mark. Well, look, if we fall down, it'll just be into the water, right? Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Lighthouse is like the final goal, though. If I do another playthrough of this, I guess when I do another playthrough of this, y'all want to see that, or shall I just leave it to y'all to find other people to stream it and or play it yourself? Just trying to gauge interest in it. I can do it either way. I have no strong opinions about it either way. Hence me asking. Hey, we're Jamie again. Here for more hashtag Charlie hashtag content. Alright. Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'll, it'll probably be after we do a couple of other games, because I do want to finish Scorn. And I want to finish our modded run of Village. But we're like more than halfway through Village. So that won't take too much longer to finish. And no promises on how long it'll take to beat Scorn. But again, since I've got like a better idea of what I'm doing for work, therefore a better idea of when I'm streaming, we should be able to play a little more consistently. So like in a couple weeks we'll do another playthrough of The Devil in Me, I imagine. 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe this is what we'll do on or near Christmas. So I don't really have, like, I'm trying to figure out what to do that day. I don't know what I don't understand what I'm looking at. I don't know what this is. Cause I do want to stream on Christmas since I personally do not have plans. But we also might just do, like, some chill games in chat, you know? Just hang out with our buddies. New Year's we'll definitely do stuff in Discord though.
I thought getting outside would make things better.
That's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of. That was
Did you hear that?
so loud.
There's something out there.
It's a forest. It could be anything.
Well, can I crawl back through? This seems like the way that they want me to go, and so I would like to vault over this
I
log.
wonder if he's got cameras out here too.
I mean,
Can you
probably.
not freak me out any more than I already had.
I just want to see if there's collectibles out here. You know, secrets.
This is usually where you'd bring up the Topeka shit show.
Give up Charlie's left nut to be in Topeka right about now.
Okay, actually, let's go back, because maybe this hut is a bit more of a dead end than the big building that looks incredibly ominous. Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're gonna do for holiday stuff. TLDR. We'll do more Devil in Me sometime soon. I have wanted to play some of the other ones again as well. It'd be cool to do another House of Ashes run at some point, and another Little Hope. We'll probably do this one first just because it's, you know, fresh in here. But we'll probably do Little Hope at some point. So I think that's the only one. Oh, I almost fucked that up. I think that's the only one of, like, the main series that I don't have a VOD for uploaded on anymore, which is a little sad. Whoa, whoa, that's not where I'm telling you to go. I want you to go over here. See what's back here. This key is back here. Also, this hand is back here. There is a dead man in here. I'm sure it's fine. I think he's just napping more than anything. Okay, watch out, Kate. There's nothing there. Okay. Cool. Let's go! Look at that corpse. That is a corpse.
Oh,
Hi.
hand's been cut.
Oh, it's yeah.
Before
The guy that was missing his hand.
How the hell should I know?
There. You wanna grab that?
This thing is juice.
Does it though? Thing got lost. Hey, a real powerful one now. Thing got lost. Okay. Got a real cool flashlight. Look at it. I can't see. But I lost a real neat flashlight. Go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Okay, there you go. Gotta crawl back under. Time to get up. You don't need to be crawling for that long, I promise. Hop on over. Do a quick check over here. Nothing. So onto this very large place. What's this? Trash. More trash. Lots of garbage. Okay. Hello? Rat! I would like to sploot it. What is that noise? Is there a dog in here? Okay, before we go in, check that corner. There's nothing there. I guess in we go. Dog!
You hear that? What?
Like dog.
Whimpering. Is that...
Dog. Dog is gonna bite you. Or not. Oh, baby! We have to let the dog go. We have to... No. Right?
Help me.
Oh, that's not what I thought we were trying to do. Oh, mistakes were made.
It's okay, boy. I won't hurt you.
You're a good doggy. You're a good, lovely doggy. No. Dog. Dog, shh. Shh, dog. Dog, shh. Fuck. Excuse you, what are you doing? Jamie, what the fuck are you doing? No! No! I don't understand why she didn't just let the dog go from the beginning, but...
No!
I mean, honestly, that's what she gets for getting ready to do a murder on that dog. My respect for Jamie just left entirely. I don't get why she didn't just, like, get the dog stuck and then leave him. Yeah, dog over people. Like, listen, if the dog goes off and does something silly and gets itself killed, it's sad, but, like, nothing I could do. In a situation like this, though, it's like, you've brought this upon yourself. Of course the dog's gonna freak out. He doesn't know you. There's a murderer on the loose. Yeah, it was a horrible choice.
You think they're here?
We need to find a way in.
What if they didn't make it?
Probably should have just left the
One
dog
thing
out,
at a time.
out there, but whatever. At the speed with which she was ready to fucking do that. What the hell, Jamie?
Let's get inside.
Oh, fuck. Whatever. Good riddance. Okay, well, we're here now. We were doing so well at keeping everyone alive, and then Jamie was like, "Oh, I need to make a bad choice." I'm annoyed. I'm incredibly annoyed right now. Sorry. Ugh. Here's the thing. I have no issue. I mean, it's annoying. But I don't have any problems, like, doing murders on pixel dogs, right? Like, Grantham Dumet, artist. Like, if they're an active enemy and stuff like that. It's annoying. It's overused. We need better choices as far as enemy design is concerned. But, you know, what are you gonna do about it? This was dumb and horrible and I hated it. No, I'm not gonna stab the dog. Hey, what a cool piece of paper. There it goes. Chicago PD evidence 1612. Got a case number and a recovery date.
At 0600 hours, I, Officer Frank Hooper, discovered that one or multiple individuals had gained unauthorized access to the evidence room at 1612 West State Street. Among the missing items were assets recovered from the apartment of former FBI agent Hector Monday, including books, clothes, notes, surgical tools, and dental equipment.
Do you think this person is just a fanboy?
We are currently running with the theory that this was the direct result of
Beast of
souvenir
Arkansas
hunters looking
Yeah.
for a piece of memorabilia from the case. End of report.
Okay, well, I don't know, I'm gonna stop trying to theorize about who the killer is. I'll just let them tell me when they tell me. Hey!
Mr. Dumet, I want my team dead. I'll get them to you. This weekend. Just do it.
Hey, Charlie!
I never said any of that shit.
I mean...
I'm certainly grateful to you, Mr. Dumet. I want my team dead. I'll get them there. This weekend. Let's do it.
I'm such an idiot. I wanted this to work so much, I just accepted everything he said. He recut it.
Not
Yeah,
a
he
bad
did.
job either.
No, it kind of is.
Why would he frame me? Is he going to try and pin this shit on me?
I mean, there's some, like, weird, awkward pauses in there. What's this? Yes, blurry things.
Hector Waylon Monday.
Waylon? Wayland. Silver Spring University of Science and Medicine. This is to certify that Hector Wayland Monday had been awarded the degree of Bachelor in Science and Psychology on May 22nd, 1988. Okay, well, good for you. Oh, can I take pictures? Stupid smile! This was very funny to me. Okay, no pictures there. I hope we get to see all the stupid pictures I've taken. can't see nothing. Well... Wonderful! Boathouse key! Or key for boats?
Looks like there may be another boat on the island.
Okay. Who's making noise over there? Who's this blurry couple? Mark and Jennifer Edwards! Whoever that is. Anything in here? No? Okay. Hello? What do we got? July 7th, 1965. Clarence! I thought I should write you with the news. As you haven't been to see me in 6 months. You have a son. I gave birth a few weeks ago. I need you back here. I can't do this alone. My parents are helping out. But they're both very old now. Come home, Clarence, please. L. Monday. Okay, well... Who's banging? What jump scare are we getting this time? Are you shitting me?
Give me a dog any day.
You're wrong, Mark.
You all right? Yeah, just a stupid cat.
Dog good, cat good. We like both, alright? Also, cats don't jump at you and scream at the same time. That's just not a thing. Okay, come on. Oh my god, how tall is this stupid house? Wait, are we at the lighthouse? Is that... We are... Okay. That explains why this house is so stupidly tall. Understood.
No way.
Just don't look. It's fine. Yeah, Devo jumps and screams. But not jumps and screams.
Come on.
House is dummy tall. Okay, how do we fix this? I don't want to power up the lighthouse. Oh, I have to run down these stairs again. Damn house, you dummy tall. Mark, you can climb faster than this, buddy. But yeah, Devo will scream and then jump, or jump and then scream, but never jump and scream at the same time. It just doesn't happen. Okay, where do we get power? Hey. Wait, that's a door. Can I open you? No. Where did... Catechit.
Did you get the thing lit up?
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, we need power. Also, I found Charlie. Looked at that. Is this how we came in? Screaming and jumping at the same time. It's not proper catechit. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what they want me to do. Here is the thing. Nothing makes sense in this bad, stupid house. And I don't wish to be here anymore. Charlie, what do I do? I've looked in there. That's nothing. I can't open that. Can't open that. There's nothing here. We got the key for the boat. Do I inspect this picture again? Is there like a secret switch behind it? No? Okay. Maybe if I just keep flashing my light, I'll figure it out. You know? Mark, why aren't you walking? Mark? Like an invisible block on the floor or something. Okay, let me see. Nothing there. There's nothing there. How do we turn the light on? Did I miss a spot where I could shimmy? Mark, you're wiggling an awful lot. Like, threatening to phase out of existence kind of wiggling. Okay. Let's see. It's like, there's not any wires that I can follow, you know? That's a shimmy right there. Oh, God. Okay. Don't look down.
Don't look down. Don't look down.
Yeah, you're doing great, buddy.
Look down.
Look at you go. Good job.
Tampering with the seal is a federal offense.
Let's commit some crimes. Whoa! Lol. Good job, buddy. You've done great. You've just about electrocuted yourself, but you know what? I think it was worth it. What's happening here? What is this? What is this camera angle? Push it.
Ow.
Stop zapping yourself, bud. Hark, says the achievement. Okay.
Oh, fuck yes! Woo!
Yeah, but now man even knows you're here. Even man knows you're here. Is what I'm attempting to say. Also, where'd Charlie go?
Hey!
Hey, Kate!
Up here!
Oh! Oh!
Hey!
We do have our stabby, monopod. Stab him!
Oh. There you are. I wasn't expecting.
Oh, jeez.
Are you early for a change?
It's Mom!
You're a selfish monster. Always have been.
Hey! Who are you?
It's, Monday's mother, right? The lonely boy loved reading scary stories. Wow! He read scary stories all day and night. Oh, wow. He lived with his mother, but she was very strict. Stop reading that book. The boy was sick of being told what to do. It's not fair. The book gave him an idea. Revenge! The boy sneaked through the house. Heh. He jumped and shouted and frightened his mother. Roar! He loved scary stories. Ha 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 ha. Child, please.
Always right to your favorite page. Predictable little shit. I know you.
Yeah, okay. Bye. Let's just go. That's locked. Hey, Mark, have you been stabbed yet?
Oh, thank God. It's only you.
Thank God. Have you seen Mark?
He's all right. He's trying to get that bloody light going.
I don't know that he is all right.
Please tell me you can hear me.
I think Mark's fucking dead. Oh, never mind.
Mark! I thought I lost you.
Hey! Charlie, what the hell? Bold!
What about Jamie?
Oh, she dead.
He got her. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was about to do a murder on a dog, and I said no thanks. She's dead now. We don't have to worry about Jamie anymore. It's thinking about loading. Sorry, it's taking forever. There it goes. Silly how, like, slow he is. He's just kind of taking his sweet time, you know? I think this might be, like, our final showdown, though. Wait.
What the hell? Oh.
Hands where I can see them, all of you.
Oh.
He killed them.
No talking. I said hands.
I'm less sad about the man, but that means he
Thank
got
God
the
you're
little
here.
girl too.
You have to help us.
Until I know what's happening here, no
Oh.
one moves.
Oh, hey, you should look behind you.
The boat.
Seriously, lady?
Jesus Christ. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate for him. I don't care. Is it crushed? Sorry. Thing got lost again.
There, let's go.
Get the gun.
Grab the gun.
Right. Howard said, "A-cab?" Oh, well, okay, Mark, time to run. Well, I guess we got pepper spray now, so that's kind of exciting. I don't think it's gonna do much against this man, but... you know.
Come on. This way.
I don't think Charlie's doing too well.
This should work.
Nice.
Oh, it's not working. Starter cord. There. Work, damn it!
You kind of have to yank on it. Doug!
Hey, Connie. Good to see you, boy. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, good boy. Whoa! Hold on. Hold on. Oh! My ring light decided to just eat itself off of my computer for some reason. Consider not doing that? There we go. Okay.
Just work.
Yeah, he's
No!
Ah! Swing and a miss. I don't feel like it's over. That seemed too easy. That seemed too easy.
We made it. Thank God it's over.
Not all of us.
Woof. Hi, man. You've lost your hat, sir.
Hang on!
Get him, dog! Oh.
No, no, please.
Oh. This is a problem. What did he look like? Mark, tell me what he looked like. No! Kate, do something. No! Oh, I missed. It wanted me to use the inventory, and I fucking didn't because it's horrible! Whoa! Do we see red? We see red. Well, hold on! Or jump! Well, everyone's swimming now. I guess it's time to swim back to the island. This seems like a bit of a problem.
If that song doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what will. We have a non-stop block of your favorite classic rock after this break.
No damn commercials.
It's the start of Resident Evil 2 all over again.
Shoot.
Shit!
And I looked up, and there they were just in the middle of the flippin' road, waving their hands and arms like a bunch of crazies.
And where you coming in from?
Fort Wayne. Been driving since 3 a.m.
Early start.
Well, I was trying to get into the port by 8.
Dog.
I'm not gonna make that now, am I?
Happier ending.
Likely not.
You know what? I think I'm gonna see about that studio in Brooklyn. See if I can make it work. After this, starting over feels like a good idea.
You think?
Yeah. Just promise me you'll tell me how it goes.
Only if you promise to keep giving me unsolicited advice.
Count on it.
Need a smoke, buddy?
No, you've quit.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm trying to quit.
Good job, Charlie. Charlie, pet the dog. Tell Connie he's a good boy. Is that it? But I wanna know who the killer was. And other things. This feels incredibly unresolved. What's going on here?
here. All good things must come to an end, but how good was the end for our crew? Unfortunately, you lost a few of them.
Yeah, well...
So, rest in peace.
What can you do?
Erin. The new girl surprised everyone with her courage, but now she's gone to the great audio suite in the sky.
Please.
And Jamie. The plug's been pulled and the lights are out. I don't think rewiring the fuse is going to help this time around.
These jokes, though.
What about those who survived? Has the experience changed them? Kate had a secret. She was traumatized by something that happened a long time ago, but she faced the thing she was most afraid of in the whole world and survived. Mark had to stop waiting for people to tell him what to do. He had to make his own way in the world. And Charlie finally understood that leadership is more than ordering the team around. He had to treat them as equals and let them take the lead when the time was right.
Ass.
I'll tackle the paperwork in the morning. Can you find your own way out? It was, as always, enlightening. I have no doubt we'll meet again in the future. Farewell.
Bye, my sweet boy.
The chain of events are still unclear at this point in time. What we can confirm is that a little after 7:30, a truck driver was flagged down to render aid. The police were called and quickly arrived on scene. The survivors are part of a film crew, Lonnet Entertainment, the team behind the Architects of Murder docuseries.
Fuck, man.
It seems
like
as though
that show.
they got a little too close to their subject material. And some of them, sadly, did not survive. Thankfully, their ordeal is now at an end.
Holy shit. Remember how my video went viral?
How could we forget? You bring it up every chance you get.
Just listen to this. I got enough views to win a competition. What did you win? An all-expense paid trip to an island resort for 5.
Don't do it, it's a
now
trap.
I'm interested.
Yeah, Mr. Dumet says they're gonna send a limo and everything. This is gonna be so much fun.
You fools! That looks like Murder House from the first season of American Horror Story. Oh, he's there in the picture. You can see him on the left. Oh, That's an animatronic. Hello. Okay.
Won't you spare me over to another year? Oh, what is this I cannot see with icy hands taking hold of me? Oh, death and death none can excel. I open the doors to heaven and hell. Yes, I have come to get your soul and leave your body and leave it cold.
Can I skip?
Drop the flesh from on your frame. The earth and worm both have their claim. I said, oh,
this is
fine. Oh,
this is fine. I don't know where my sound control went. So we'll just do that for a hot second. I have some feelings. Burger King. No, I don't know if I like that. So much of it felt like padding, if we're being honest. I liked the bits where we were getting chased, and I liked the investigation aspect of things. I hated the inventory. Did not like the inventory system at all. That was a bad change. I hope they don't keep it. I don't know. I want us to get through the credits to see if we get like another one of those post-credit scenes about the group that's been like following all of the other games, you know, and maybe it'll explain some stuff. I don't know how I feel about the fact that like they make it seem like it's Monday who's the killer, but we never get any sort of confirmation. I don't necessarily need to know who the killer is, but they put it in our face for so long that it's like, well, is it him or is it not? What's going on there? I wonder if I might have like missed a couple of things, like a couple of clues that like would let us know a bit more. It felt like it was a little too... It felt like the scope of the murders was a little too large, and wasn't necessarily able to, like, deliver a punch in regards to, like a good or a satisfying conclusion. Like, don't get me wrong, the ending for House of Ashes, which I'll avoid, like, fully talking about in case anyone here hasn't, like, seen it. I think most of us have, or have played it, whatever, got real big. The ending got real big, but they pulled it off super well. This just felt like they were throwing a bunch of different characters at us with no, like, real backstory outside of just being like, oh yeah, this person was here and they were also interested in this stuff. Oh, can I skip to the end now? Oh wait, I'll just let it continue to go on since it's just ambient sounds. Yeah, while the general telling for House of Ashes was large, you still really only had the, like, 6-7 characters that you were following. We had 5 characters here that we were following, but there were, like, 15 plus different characters that they were telling us about who had, like, previously been here, and trying to keep all of that straight was a lot. And it felt a little muddied at points because of it. I don't know that I get that they're trying to make the antagonist seem like this big, unstoppable force. Look at him in his big, fancy moving house. But it just... I think it got away from him a little bit. It was still fun to play. I still really like playing these games. But I think it could have benefited from narrowing the scope just a little bit. Granted, my opinion can change once we do our second playthrough. Maybe having, like, a couple of the other characters around would be good. I don't know. I just wanna see if we get a special scene at the end. I'm scared to skip to the end, just because I don't want that to skip the cutscene, if there is one, you know? I don't know. If anybody has any thoughts about it, let me know. I had fun, but I don't know that I was that impressed with it overall. It probably, at this moment, probably sits down there with Little Hope. For me, I would consider Little Hope the weakest of the entire series. Let me just look at all of them real fast. Maybe Man of Medan's the weakest. I liked Man of Medan just because it was like a good introduction. It was a neat introduction to the entire series as a whole, and I liked the idea that it was like, oh, there's these spooky ghosts, these really scary ghosts, but it's not actually ghosts, it's this, you know, biological weapon that makes people see things. I thought that was neat. Oh, is this gonna be a trailer for the next one?
Amanda Stafford, the forward reconnaissance vessel
CDC Cassiopeia.
After successfully rendezvousing with a Charybdis marker, we have detached the booster ring and spirits are high as we make our final approach to Tau Ceti F. The ship has suffered a hull impact, but damage is minimal, and our technicians are restoring full functionality.
This is Thomas Carter. Something's wrong with Sims. She's trying to kill me. I think...
Our next transmission will be broadcast from orbit around humanity's future home. Staff it out.
Directive 8020. Do we have a generalized release? No. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, I imagine it'll probably be like 2 years or so. That's fine. We've had one of these every year for the last like 4 or 5 years. A break is good. I want Supermassive to take a break. They've released a bunch of really large, like a lot of games in the last 5 years. That'll be cool. That'll be interesting. I'm excited about the space one. Yeah, as somebody who enjoys learning about true crime, I appreciated the generalized inspiration that they took from H.H. Holmes. I think it got away from him a little bit. I think there was a little too much focus on serial killers. That's not quite what I'm trying to say. I'll be able to figure out my thoughts a little better later. But yeah, overall, fairly middle of the road. I had fun playing it. I don't know how I feel about it overall. Probably one of the weaker installations. But that's okay. We'll play it again after we finish Scorn and Village. And I don't know, we'll see how we're all feeling. Maybe we'll try and save everyone. Maybe we'll try and do a murder on everyone. That could be fun. But that's all we're doing for today. That's it. That's all I got. Let me turn this off real fast. Can we make it so Dog is sole survivor? I mean, I assume if Dog doesn't meet any of these people, Dog will be the sole survivor, right? That's how that works, right? There we go. Doop. Let's do that. Yeah, I don't know. It had, I think it also just left, like, a really bad taste in my mouth that it's, like, instead of just letting Dog go, Jamie was like, I'm gonna stab this dog. And it's like, I get self-preservation, but also just, like, push the dog out. The dog is gonna run away. And it'll be fine. And it'll be better for everyone, including Dog. I don't know. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. So yeah. Plan for tomorrow. Like I said, Scarlet Hollow should be releasing, Chapter 4 for Scarlet Hollow should be releasing tomorrow. I have to work a little bit first thing in the morning. So let's plan on, let's plan on an afternoon stream, probably around like 2-ish or so for chapter 4. Plan on playing through the entirety of chapter 4 tomorrow. Yeah, it'll probably take us a couple hours. I've heard that this one is going to be very long and it's going to be a heck of a doozy. She wasn't thinking clearly after nearly dying a dozen times. Still a bad move on her part. Facts. You know what? It's no forgiveness. There's no forgiveness for that. Unless the dog is actively attacking you and trying to do a murder on you, you don't kill the dog. That's that. Right? Maybe Jamie's just actually a shit person. Maybe that's the thing that we're missing here. I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me. There were so many other better options in that case, you know? It's whatever though. Let's go find someone to raid into, shall we? Let's see. We've got Super Great Friend doing Tale of the Sun. Sinnoh Beats is just chatting. ATM Zero is doing some Pokemon Scarlet Violet. And Hewchew is doing some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Y'all wanna... We haven't seen Chew in a hot minute, and I think they just went live. Y'all wanna go say hi to Chew? Alright. You wanna say hi to Chew? Let's go say hi to Chew. As always, thanks y'all for being here. I'm very happy that we're getting back into streaming regularly. I've missed it a lot. It's been... I'm glad that I've like taken the extra time to get used to everything and like figure out what I was doing and like generally settle in and stuff. But I've missed it, and I've missed seeing or hanging out with all of y'all. Obviously, I'm not actually seeing you, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see y'all then. Take care of your dang selves, alright? Alright. Bye, friends.